Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock. We'll call this public meeting to order. Declaration of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Are there any declarations for pecuniary interest by any members of council? If not, we'll move on. Purpose of the public meeting. The clerk will read our preamble that we provide for every public meeting, please.
Thank you. The purpose of the public meeting, personal information collected at this public meeting hearing is collected under the authority of the Planning Act and will be used to assist in making a decision on this matter. All names, addresses, opinions, and comments are collected and form part of the minutes which are available to the public. Questions regarding the collection should be forwarded to the Director of Planning. The purpose of the public meeting is to present applications in a public forum. Following presentations by the applicant or staff, council members will be afforded an opportunity to ask questions for clarification or further information. The meeting will then be open to the public for comments and questions. When you speak, please provide your name and address for recording in the minutes. All comments should be directed to the chair of the meeting. The applicant will be provided the opportunity to address public questions once all members of the public have made their submissions. Following council's decision, notice will be circulated in accordance with the Planning Act. If a specified person or public body would otherwise have an ability to appeal the decision of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Leeds and Thousand Islands to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the specified person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the township before the bylaw is passed, the specified person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This public meeting tonight is for D14-2024-013, 417B, Thousand Island Parkway. We'll now move forward with the statutory public meeting. And the reason for that meeting, or this meeting, is a zoning bylaw amendment under file number, which I just read. Senior Planner, Madam Lambert, I guess you're spearing this tonight?
Thank you,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor. And through you, I'll just start by sharing my screen. So as noted, this is a statutory public meeting for the property municipally known as 417B Thousand Islands Parkway. The property is located on the south side of the parkway, and Glen House Resort is located to the west, and the Smuggler's Glen Golf Course is located to the north. The property does have water frontage on the St. Lawrence River. There is a portion of the property, the water portion of the property, that is zoned a special EP-3 zone in zoning bylaw number 07-079. This site-specific zone permits a number of boat slips as they existed in 2006 as a result of an OMB decision, now the Ontario Land Tribunal. The subject application is requesting to expand the area that's currently zoned EP-3 and to amend the provisions to permit a total of 52 boat slips within that water area. Through the proposed changes, there would be a net increase of 12 boat slips. The area of the existing and proposed boat slips currently coincides with a provincially significant wetland. And in support of the application, the applicant has provided a wetland boundary evaluation that has concluded that the accurate area of the wetland is located outside of the area of the current and proposed boat slips. If this application is approved, it will be subject to site plan control. And then in terms of notice, notice of this public meeting has been provided in accordance with the Planning Act. And to date, staff are in receipt of 2 pieces of correspondence that have been circulated to the applicant as well as members of council. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Planner. Just everyone to keep in mind, there's no decisions being made tonight. This is just a public meeting for info session. Do we have anyone with us online right now? Okay. Members of the council, you have any questions of the clerk, or go ahead, Councillor Kelman?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and through you. I just had a couple of questions regarding, first of all, I'm not sure exactly, the property is owned by Glen House. The slips are used by Glen House visitors, or are they used by other people? Anyone can rent them. And I just had a number of questions coming from the comments that we received from members of the public. Have we received noise complaints from activities happening on those docks, existing docks? Is there, just to confirm, is there going to be any dredging done as part of this project? And just to clarify, that there was a request that the township create a no wake zone in this area, and I don't think that that's within our jurisdiction to do that, but if that could be clarified as well. Thank you.
Madam Planner?
Thank you. And through you, we do have the property owner, David Seal, personally in attendance this evening, as well as the agent, Bob Clark. I am not aware of any previous noise complaints in our property file for this property. And as far as dredging, I would probably defer to the applicant to respond to that question.
Would the applicant prefer to respond to questions as they come or summarize later? Sorry, go ahead.
Through you,
Sorry.
it's probably better if we can respond to questions at the end.
Okay. All right. We're going to wait until the end and summarize the questions. Thank you. Any other comments from members of council? Councillor, maybe?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and through you. As many of us who have been around the area have known this property for many, many years, and that it has been a place of business. I've easily known it for 70 years myself. Not quite that old, though, just to point that out. But close. I actually knew the current owner's parents, so I did a lot of business with them. And also as a photographer, I went down there many times and did photos, not only of weddings, but of government conferences and such. And in saying that, there were many people there, hundreds of people there in some cases. And I have never seen any kind of party there that has gotten out of hand, which I would say would be a noise complaint. And to the boat slips, I've also seen, many boats in and out of there. And to my knowledge, it's mainly just the users of the property themselves that have those, that have been there, as well as the owners. They have a couple slips there. But certainly this is a improvement to the site in the respect of the parking lot, which is requested here, which is within the south side of the property, which I think is a big advantage instead of patrons crossing the parkway to the north side or the north or toward Smuggler's Glen when the parking is overflowed down at the current site. So I see this as this proposal as a big plus, not only for the business, but also public safety of crossing the road and keeping things neat and tidy. And more docks down there. Again, I've seen them full before, and the parking lot, as I said, is a big plus. So I personally am in favor of this particular public meeting myself.
Thank you. Councillor Lockie.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, through you. It's just in passing numerous days, numerous times in the summer. I just wanted to confirm that in fact there has been docks removed from the particular area as well in other locations than what we're talking about. So it could be a replacement. Take docks away here and move them over there. It's from what I've noticed that there is some docks that have been there historically that aren't there anymore.
Thank you. Any other comments from members of council? Councillor Grell, where are you?
No particular questions, and just a statement and backing up what Councillor Maybe has said. The Seal family been in business a very long time, and it's clear that their acumen in business is unsurpassed. And I think if this is an addition to what they have accomplished in our township, we should be glad to move forward. And I would have no objection whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of council have any additional comments or questions? Do we have anyone online, Madam Clerk?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, we do have a number of individuals online. 2 individuals have their hands raised. If there is anybody else wishing to speak, please go ahead and use the raise hand function and we will call on you by name.
Okay, so we have members that have their hand up. I'll just take them in the order I'm reading them off the screen. Kent Rogers, can you hear me?
Kent, you'll have to unmute yourself and then you should be able
Yes,
to.
you
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
We've had a family property, Cunliffe Island, opposite Glen House for years. Noise has never been an issue. I do know that there are occasional weddings at Glen House, but everything's appropriate. No problem there at all. I don't think that the proposal would dramatically change boat traffic. I spend a lot of time on the water, so that would always be, close to my heart. I think any improvement to that property would probably help the islanders, of which I'm one, and it might be a good idea.
Thank you. Randy Frayne. Oh, sorry. Madam Clerk, go ahead. Madam Clerk. Madam Planner.
Thank you, through you, Deputy Mayor. If it would be possible for Mr. Rogers just to provide us with his address for the record so we can include it in the minutes.
Right. Mr. Rogers, if you could go ahead and give us your address, please.
Address would be Cunliffe Island, or alternately, it would be Atlanta, Georgia. Permanent address.
Thank you. That's just for public record. Thank you.
Great.
Randy Frayne, can you hear me? Go ahead if you can.
Yes, my name is Randy Frayne. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. We have a property that's right next to the Point Comfort Docks, Island 68B, and we're actually right up close to this property line, and we do have some concerns that we would like to share. I know some of the family members have written in and suggested that there has been noise complaints, and there's residents over at these docks that don't have properties and don't have islands, but they're actually using these docking slips for summer homes and summer vacations. So we did want to kind of raise some of the concerns that we do have about that area. And I know I've spoken with some neighbors in the area as well. Within the past couple of years, there has been expansion over there. I'm not sure if it has gone through the same process that this has gone through, but we recognize within the last 5 years, the docks have been expanded and there's been some clearance. So I'm not sure if islanders and neighbors have been able to have a say in that. But since that's happened, we're right there upriver from where the docks are. We've seen an increase in garbage on our shoreline. We're cleaning it out from the marshlands and the wetlands that's in behind our properties. We're actually having noise complaints and people staying up and pretty loud the way the water carries off the river. I know one of my family members wrote in about a helicopter that tried to land over at the Point Comfort Docks with one of the residents that currently boats there. And my daughter's out canoeing and swimming, came back one time and told me they saw a gentleman expose himself while he's urinating in the side of the water. So guys, we know the SEALs are responsible business owners. We actually patron their restaurant all the time. We stay at their property. We love their golf course. We just think there's some things that need to be considered in terms of what that area looks like. We love the peace and tranquility and the serenity that's over there. And there's definitely some increase in traffic and boats and noise and stuff that we're seeing. So we want to try to mitigate that as much as possible. And hope you guys appreciate that we're stewards of the river. We love the river, and we're speaking on behalf of some of the neighbors that have kind of suggested the same thing.
Okay, Mr. Frayne, can you likewise provide us with an address for the records?
We're Island 68B. It's Scobie Island. It's right next to the Point Comfort Docks.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Next online, Lori Scott, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Awesome. I have prepared remarks, and so that the rest of the public knows what I've said, I'm going to read them to you. I will be quick. I do appreciate you opening this forum to parties such as my family so that we can offer our perspective on the requested zoning adjustment. My name is Lori Scott, live in Bay Shore, New York, and my summer island is Island 68B, known to us as Scobie since its purchase in 1969. We have been careful stewards of the island almost 55 years. We have done business with the Seals from the beginning, and we recognize their importance to the region, to the economy, and to all of us who rely on them and others to park our docks and maintain our boats. Interestingly, I'm speaking to you 35 years after my mom, Phyllis Sanderson Scott, original co-owner of our island with her sister Shirley Bean, both made their voices heard when a similar significant encroachment would have decimated the marsh behind us and dramatically affected the quality of life for those of us along the river in the proposed area. At that time, my mother told the judge hearing the case that she and her sister bought the property for the well-being and love of the environment, particularly for generations who would come after her. Mom and Shirley are both gone now, but we have 3 more generations who have been raised on the river and now including 7 great-grandchildren. We have learned much from our Canadian neighbors, especially about the stewardship and care of the ecosystems, wildlife, and water protection efforts in the surrounding towns. Our children and grandchildren are catch and release fishing enthusiasts. We light no open fires and have not dredged since the designation of the marsh behind us as forever wild, and we have been careful to minimize the footprint of our property. Today, I'm 67 and I have enjoyed the river for 55 years. In the spring, I will transfer my co-ownership, in fact, to Randy Frayne, to the next generation of our family to steward as we have committed to do. The proposed expansion and disruption in this area would come at a cost to the humans and wildlife who enjoy it. While my greatest concern is for the impact on the environment from pollutants and dredging so close to a protected marsh, I must also object to the project given the noise and partying that the current docks brought with them. Those who do not have their own island property use the current docks as their summer home, partying well into the night. The last summer I brought my mom to the island, she was 90, and as we returned to the docks to bring her home, I actually had to navigate my boat with a helicopter that was buzzing above the docks. That was terrifying. I expect that an expansion of the docks will only increase the noisy and dangerous behavior of those who use the docks as their summer party location. As any of us with children know, glitter in one place means glitter everywhere. Likewise, we can't expect that the ecosystem and wildlife adjacent to a protected marsh will remain protected with the development proposed directly next to it. Butterflies, herons, swans, and the use of our properties will be affected for the long term by this development proposed along the river's edge. Finally, as Canadian and U.S. neighbors, we have been granted one of the world's most beautiful natural habitats, and we have worked together over thousands of miles to protect and preserve the St. Lawrence River for future generations. If this zoning change is approved, will we be here in another 35 years requesting preservation of an even larger or more vulnerable portion of the river? Let us all recognize our responsibility to steward this area wisely. Vote no to this proposed zoning change. But I will add, let us vote no with a commitment to work with the Seals to accomplish their business strategies, their support and service to islanders and others who visit the St. Lawrence. There are generations of counting on us to do the right thing, and I hope we can do that together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next on hand up here is Randy Frayne. Can you hear me? Sorry, Richard Bryson.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, Richard Brisson. We're at 415.
Brisson, excuse me.
You can go. My wife calls me Richard, so you can go Richard. So Richard Brisson, 415 Thousand Islands Parkway. We're in between the Glen House and the marina. A couple of weeks ago, Dave and I had a good chat along with my wife Sheila, and we have no concerns with the marina expansion proper. Just a question of do those nearby have an issue with that expansion and what it might mean for them? Of course, there'll be 52 parking spots very near the edge of where our entrance is. No issues, especially since Dave indicated that he would be putting up a fence along that way. But in listening to Councillor Brian Mabby, he seemed to think that the clients wouldn't have to cross off to the parkway. So I'm not sure if I missed something or perhaps that could be expanded upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Who next do we have on here?
I believe we've called on everybody that had their hands up.
There's a phone number showed up earlier. Is there somebody on a call?
There is the ability to call in, yes, but they don't have their
Okay.
hand up.
I see our mayor has joined us by Zoom. Good evening, Your Worship. Do you have any comments or questions? You weren't available here a few moments ago, so we'll give you an opportunity now.
No, I don't have any comments or questions at this point in time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have we covered everyone that wanted to speak?
No, it looks like there's a couple more.
Councillor Gorell has his hands up as well.
Oh, sorry.
I'll take the public first, if you
Yep,
would.
all right, thanks. Are we? Yeah. Robert Clark, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you
Okay,
hear
and we
me?
can hear you as well. Go ahead and can you state your address for the record?
Yes, I'm located in Port Hope, 52 John Street in Port Hope. And I'm the planner who's been acting as the applicant on this for David Seal. And I wanted to provide a response to some of the comments that have been made, if that would be appropriate at this time.
No, go ahead.
I believe we have
Okay.
one more individual on the line that has their hand up, so maybe if we could come back to them after we've heard the next public comment, if that's okay.
That's certainly fine with me.
Mr. Clark, you had more to say?
Well, yes, if I can proceed.
Sure.
I do appreciate the fact that municipal staff have provided the written comments that were received earlier today. In response to those, I wanted to just emphasize what your staff have already indicated, that the increase in the number of boat slips, although the number says 52, it's actually only an increase of 12 new docking spaces. There actually are several spaces, which I believe has already been mentioned, that will be removed or have been removed from the shoreline, which would allow the shoreline to actually regenerate and be more environmentally appropriate. I wanted to also emphasize that we have had an ecologist review the potential impact, and their advice is that there will be no impact on the river or the wetland in the area. I wanted to be clear that there is no dredging proposed. These are the additional 20 docks will be floating docks, and there will be no supports located on the river bottom. Our client, as I know that has already been mentioned, has been in the community for a number of years, and they value the natural beauty of the area for their location. And because of that, they have been very specific about the design of this particular expansion so that it does not impact the environment. The final comment that I heard was a concern about septage and septic, and I just wanted to emphasize that there is no septic facilities on these particular docks. The existing facilities that provide that service are the ones that will continue to be used in appropriate locations and with appropriate procedures. I'm certainly available to answer any questions that anyone may have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have one other. John Fullreader, can you hear me?
Yes, actually, this is Julie Florida. I'm speaking on behalf of my brother because he couldn't get his audio
That's
to
fine.
work.
That's
Sorry about
fine,
that.
So that's fine, Julie. Can you provide your address for the record?
Absolutely. We are at Island 68,
Okay.
right near the Point Comfort. And I'm co-owner with my brother and my sister of the island. And we certainly thank the township for having this public notice and meeting to hear people's concerns. We echo the love of the river. One thing that we did want to ask is there a limitation on how far out docks can go into the channel overall, whether with this project or even in the future?
Anything else, Julie?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you. Does that summarize everyone, Madam Clerk?
That is everyone.
That's it for now.
That's it for now. If the applicant or the agent wanted to answer any
Right.
more of the questions.
I'll go to Councillor Growl first, if I may. You had your hand up for a question?
It was more a comment, but if there was clarification, for instance, on the length of the docks, I would be interested in hearing that first.
Okay. Our Director of Planning Development or Senior Planner, whoever is wanting to respond to some of the questions that were up.
Thank you, and through you. I don't have the specific existing and proposed length of the docks, but that's something that we can certainly include in a future comprehensive report. There was a question just from the last commenter about a limitation on how far the docks can go out. So in order to permit the docks, they would have to be located within the site-specific zone. So there is an existing EP-3 zone, and the applicant's proposing to expand that a little bit further into the river. Outside of that area, it would be zoned EP or PSW. Therefore, docking wouldn't be permitted in that area. Should the wetland delineation update be approved, our mapping would be updated to denote where the provincially significant wetland starts within our mapping. And so that would be a clear indication of where the docking would be permitted to be located. And in terms of the docks being removed versus the docks being proposed, the staff report notes that 8 dock slips are proposed to be removed and 20 are proposed to be added, which results in a net increase of 12 for the site.
Okay, thank you. Our applicant, Mr. Seal, did you want to make any comments or response to anybody?
Can you just ask him to use?
We'll require, if you wish to, will require you to come to the podium because those online won't be able to hear you. Just make sure when you get there, please, that the mic is on. There's a green light lit up.
Yes, so the additional docks, the one dock is going to receive an extension out 2 slips, and the other dock is going to be extended out 3 slips in length. So the longest dock extension out, the 3 slips would be an additional 66 feet of dock. I'm sorry, I haven't got it in meters, but it would be about 66 feet. And that's about roughly the length of the dock that we've deleted from one of the other docks that we've removed. And as far as from the full Redders point of view, there'd be no intrusion into the channel traffic to their island, or much less to any boaters out in the main channel out in front of the marina.
Okay, thank you. Any members of council have any other comments or questions? Councillor Grohl.
Just as we wrap up here this evening, I just wanted to point out that on the township website, there is a letter from or a report from the CRCA, which is our local conservation authority. And for those folks who might not be familiar with Ontario and so on in this regard, they're a pretty outstanding operation regulating provincial interests on the river and throughout our area. The report is on, again, the township website dated December 4th, 2024. It addresses the areas of concern that the CRCA can have under provincial jurisdiction. One of them is, of course, the well-being of floodplains and hydraulic functions of areas of the river. It's worth reading for those folks who are in the area. I didn't see it included in tonight's expanded agenda, but it is well worth reading. And the CRCA has, quote, no objection to the zoning amendment based on our considerations of natural hazards and policies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of council? Your worship, you're on Zoom. Did you have any question or comment? You're good? Okay. Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and through you to Mr. Seal. I did make a comment about the parking lot, and somebody else kind of asked that question. Basically, the parking lot stops a lot of people from crossing the parkway during a busy time because of the hall that you have upstairs, as well as the rooms, as well as the restaurant. So this is going to help keep more patrons safe by not crossing the parking or the parkway during those busy peak times.
Yes, and it will tidy up the existing parking that is there, which was helter-skelter all over the piece of property. And so this will consolidate all of that into one fixed area, and it will give us an opportunity to better control who's using those parking privileges as well. But to be clear, Glenhouse Resort is the parent company, is west of this piece of property. And the parent company owns 818769. Point Comfort, as we call it, and Smuggler's Glen as well. There's never been any parking across north of the parkway. So there's lots of property here. There's a total of about 15 acres of property that we have on the south side of the highway. So, yeah. But thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Go ahead. All right. If that's it, thank you, Mr. Seal. Appreciate that. Thank you for all the members of the public who weighed in on this tonight and members of council. I have a notice of motion for adjournment here moved by Councillor Maybe, seconded by Councillor Grell, that the public meeting adjourn at 6:33 p.m. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
Could I ask one last question? That's closed. That's fine. But I'm just not understanding the process from here on. Is this the first of 3 meetings?
No.
There's been no motion to adopt the bylaw.
Through you, Deputy Mayor. So this is a statutory public meeting to collect public comments.
Right. Okay.
Staff are completing the technical review of the application. We're
Sure.
collecting all of the comments.
Yeah.
And moving towards a recommendation on the
Gotcha.
file.
Yeah.
You'll be made aware in advance of
Yeah.
when that recommendation is coming
Well, that's
forward.
when we'll bring the site plan control into as well to support your recommendation.
The site plan control application, that's a separate
Okay, all right.
application that's
Yeah.
delegated to staff, but staff will certainly work with you
All right.
through that process.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Let's take about a 4-minute break before we step into the council meeting. And we'll be back with that council meeting in 4 minutes. Thank you.